Stewart-Haas Racing gets blasted by another massive penalty, and Jeff Gordon gets added to the round of 8. Okay, only the first part is true, but the way these playoffs are going, nothing surprises me anymore. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. We are about T-minus 60 seconds until liftoff because I am ready to launch into today's penalty discussion. But before we get to that, this episode is sponsored by my friends at AE Engine. AE Engine is now hiring. They've been involved with this channel for quite some time now, and they asked me to put the power of my channel to work for them. Right now, AE Engine is seeking a Director of Business Development and also an account representative. The business development position requires sales and marketing experience, but in the account executive position, they're just seeking raw talent. We've got a lot of big things planned for 2023, so if you have video editing experience or experience managing social media, be sure to apply as well. These opportunities are both remote positions, so you can work from home anywhere in the United States. So what do you think? Do these positions fit your goals? I hope so. If you think you have what it takes and you want to learn more about either of these positions, click the link down in the description below or head to ae-engine.com/careers to apply today. Who knows? We may be sitting in a production call together at some point. Be sure to check that out. Me and AE Engine have some pretty cool things we're cooking up here for the end of this month going into November. I cannot wait to share with y'all. Yesterday, some big news broke. NASCAR mauled Stewart-Haas Racing with another massive penalty. Driver Cole Custer and crew chief Mike Shiplett were both fined $100,000 each. Shiplett was suspended indefinitely, and the 41 team lost 50 driver and 50 owner points. The penalty was for violating section 5.5 of the NASCAR rulebook. This is the section which requires competitors to race at 100% of their ability and takes action against teams who attempt to artificially alter the finishing positions of a race. The incident in question occurred late in Sunday's race when Cole Custer brake-checked the field going down the back straightaway, allowing his teammate Chase Briscoe to easily pass at least 2 cars, gaining 2 important points in the closing stretch. Briscoe, of course, wound up qualifying for the round of 8. Kyle Larson was the first driver eliminated. Now, despite all the Jeff Gordon jokes, NASCAR said there will not be any changes made to the round of 8 field. Briscoe still qualifies. NASCAR explained that from what they could see, Briscoe was already in position to advance before Cole Custer made this move. That's why they're not going to kick him out and add Kyle Larson or someone else back in. How did NASCAR determine that Cole Custer intentionally brake-checked the field to help his teammate? Well, they found some pretty damning audio from crew chief to driver.
We got a flat tire. Slow up. I think we got a flat tire. Check up, check up. You're okay. Little tire up. Keep coming.
NASCAR Scott Miller says that when Mike Shiplett said those words, hey, I think you got a flat, there is no way he could have possibly seen the race car. So between that and the SMT data they reviewed, the evidence was damning. NASCAR determined that Cole Custer's move gave Chase Briscoe 2 spots, 2 points. He only beat Larson by 2 points, but Briscoe owned the tiebreaker, which is why NASCAR said he would have qualified for the playoffs even if Custer didn't make this move. NASCAR did say that if Custer's actions had led to Briscoe passing Larson in the points, they would have considered suspending Cole Custer. The penalties would have been even harsher. Crazy, crazy stuff. This is the second major penalty to hit a Stewart-Haas Racing driver in just the past week. In just the past week, Stewart-Haas Racing as an organization has faced $300,000 worth of fines, a 150-point deduction, 100 for Harvick, 50 for Custer, and 2 of their crew chiefs have now been suspended. One of them, Mike Shiplett, suspended indefinitely. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Of course, they appealed the Harvick penalty, so that one could get reduced, but goodness gracious. These penalties got team co-owner Tony Stewart tweeting this: looking for a new weekend hobby, something not Southeastern based, if anyone has any ideas. Something low drama and relaxing preferably. Ugh, I know he's probably joking, being a little sarcastic, but now you've got Tony Stewart joking about pulling out of NASCAR entirely. Kevin Harvick weighed in, tweeting, "I'm so confused." Why is Tony Stewart angry? Why is Kevin Harvick confused? Well, around this time last year, during the playoffs at Bristol, Kevin Harvick was the victim of driver Chase Elliott not racing 100%, trying to help his teammate get the win. You'll remember this incident after Elliott was knocked out of contention by Harvick. He came back out on track and intentionally blocked Kevin Harvick, allowing his teammate Kyle Larson to go up and get the victory. Neither Chase Elliott nor Hendrick Motorsports faced any consequences for those actions. That's why Kevin Harvick is confused. Why is what Cole Custer did on Sunday different than what Chase Elliott did to Harvick last year at Bristol? This was NASCAR VP of Competition Scott Miller's answer yesterday. I don't believe anybody told Chase Elliott to block Kevin Harvick so that Kyle Larson could win. That was a driver taking some things into his own hands. Sketchy? Yes. But premeditated to alter the results of the race? I don't think so. Quite a different situation there. Okay, let's take a deep breath here. Let's take a big step back. If NASCAR is attempting to differentiate between a driver just going out there and doing what he wants to do versus a driver who is ordered by his team to do something, I get it. Where things get a little weird though is that's not what's explicitly written in the rulebook. The rulebook reads, NASCAR requires its competitors to race at 100% of their ability with the goal of achieving their best possible finishing position in the event. Any competitor who takes action with the intent to artificially alter the finishing positions of the event or encourages, persuades, or induces others to artificially alter the finishing positions of the event shall be subject to a penalty from NASCAR. Artificially alter shall be defined as actions by any competitor that show or suggest that the competitor did not race at 100% of their ability for the purpose of changing finishing positions in the event in NASCAR's sole discretion. Okay, maybe the in NASCAR sole discretion gives them the ability to make up whatever they want to, but going back to last year, Chase Elliott was intentionally not running as fast as he could, aka not going at 100%, so that Kyle Larson could pass Kevin Harvick, aka changing the finishing position of the event. So as the rulebook is written, what Chase Elliott last year did was likely deserving of a penalty. But if in the here and now, NASCAR is trying to establish that there's a difference between a driver just going out and doing something on his own and a driver being told what to do by his team, I get it. I see what they're trying to do. Ross Chastain at Atlanta last year, to our knowledge, wasn't told to block to help his teammate Kurt Busch, but he saw the opportunity from the driver's seat, took it. That's not a penalty. Whereas Michael Waltrip Racing in 2013, ordering one of their drivers to pit when he didn't have to, perhaps sending code words to another driver to intentionally spin out, that is deserving of a massive penalty. Okay, I see what NASCAR is trying to do. All right. However, from my vantage point, NASCAR hasn't been consistent on even this. 2020 Martinsville playoff race. Denny Hamlin was right on the cut line in the closing laps. He had his teammate Eric Jones bearing down on him when Eric Jones received some suspicious radio communication.
Stay passive, Jones. Stay with him and drive what you can.
Don't pass him, Jones. Boy, orders don't get much clearer than that. Jones knew what was going on. He didn't like it. Here's what he said right after the checkered flag.
Good car, Chris. I don't have much to say about the end. I'll talk to you when I get in there.
Yep, exactly.
Neither Eric Jones nor Joe Gibbs Racing faced any sort of penalty for that incident. No penalty for the spotter, I believe, telling the driver not to pass his teammate who's close on points. Just moments, in fact, after the crew chief radioed the team, telling them how close their teammate was on points. At the end of the race, you can see there's a whole line of cars trying to pass Jones and Hamlin. Clearly, the 20 was sandbagging. That was textbook race manipulation. I remember saying it at the time. That was the driver being ordered by members of his team not to race at 100% for the sole purpose of changing the finishing positions at the end of the race. It's not fair that Joe Gibbs Racing got nothing for that, but Stewart-Haas Racing got everything for this. I should have said this at the very beginning, but honestly, I don't hate team orders in NASCAR as much as many NASCAR fans do. I don't want to see guys just pulling over and letting their teammate win like we see sometimes in other major motorsports. But things like the Elliott thing at Bristol last year, or the Chastain thing at Atlanta last year, the Jones thing at Martinsville even, Hamlin harassing Chastain at Gateway this year, the Cole Custer stuff at the Roval this weekend, all that just doesn't really bother me all that much. And $200,000 worth of fines, suspensions, points deductions, I'm just not sure the punishment in this case truly fits the crime. I don't think it's scaled appropriately. I understand that NASCAR wants to prevent something like what happened in 2013 with Michael Waltrip Racing. I agree, that was over the top. You had guys pitting for no reason, drivers intentionally spinning out. Even beyond Michael Waltrip Racing, wasn't that the same race where there was some front row teams maybe negotiating with Penske to try and get a better finishing position to help them with the owner standings? There was a ton of funny business. I know NASCAR wants to prevent that, and I get that these harsh penalties are meant to be a deterrent. But where is the consistency? That Eric Jones clip I played you, that was less than 2 years ago. That was not that long ago. The current 100% rule existed then, but that wasn't a penalty. Cole Custer's thing was. I just don't get it. Where is the consistency? I blame the teams for constantly putting the pressure on NASCAR to make these calls by trying all this funny business, but I also blame NASCAR. NASCAR has implemented a format that forces its teams to make desperate moves more frequently. Everyone's closer together on points now late in the season, and every few weeks there are actual honest-to-goodness eliminations. From the get-go, with this knockout round format, back in 2014 we started to see silly stuff, like Ryan Newman wrecking Kyle Larson on the last lap at Pocono because he needed that spot to make it to the championship 4. Harvick wrecking Kyle Busch in that same Martinsville race in 2020 on the last lap. Like, just silly stuff that's unbecoming of championship quality drivers. Didn't even mention Harvick wrecking half the field at Talladega in 2015 to save a playoff spot. Matt Kenseth wrecking Joey Logano at Martinsville. Revenge, playoff manipulation, whatever you want to call it. That stuff's dirty and it doesn't look good. This format leads to more desperate moves being made, and therefore NASCAR has more and more difficult incidents like this one, like the Cole Custer one, to officiate. You guys know me. I hate judgment calls because it gives NASCAR the opportunity to apply penalties, whether intentionally or not, unfairly. It feels like every single week at this point, and it's frustrating as a fan who just wants to focus on the racing. And I know in these playoffs we haven't gotten much great racing. That by itself would be frustrating, but to throw all of these controversial penalties and appeals and overturns and all that on top of it, it's just burning me out. And if it's burning me out, who loves this stuff, who literally does this stuff for a living, I can only imagine how the average fan is feeling. Y'all have to be just wore out at this point, completely spent. I don't know. I hope this video made cohesive sense. Tried to cover all the facts, exactly what happened, give both sides explanations and reactions, but where is the consistency? We need consistency. That's all I ask. That's all anyone really asks for. Cole Custer's team broke the rules, as they are written. But NASCAR the last couple of years has granted teams a pretty long leash, only to now suddenly flip and make an example out of SHR. It doesn't seem fair. It's not consistent. It's not consistent with previous incidents. It's not consistent with what's written in their own rule book. It's not consistent. I'm just gonna keep repeating that word. Be sure to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the latest NASCAR news, any of the other content we have coming on this channel. As always, a big thank you to my Patreon supporters as well for going above and beyond to support the show. Busy week. I will see you all again very, very soon. I've got some exciting things to announce in the coming weeks. I cannot wait to share with y'all. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.